Hello everyone. Welcome to a new Juju Live Session with yours truly, Joana Saahirah, on a theme that I so much love, and that is uniqueness in Egyptian dance. This is a theme that I have tackled in many occasions. Students and dancers keep emailing me, asking me about the theme in our courses at Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School. This is something that always comes to the table, even when the focus of the course is not originality or uniqueness. It always comes to the table because it touches one of the most important sides of our learning process as dancers, which is, what can I do of my own? What can I create of my own? What kind of dance expression can I come up with? What can I do with everything that I have learned from my teachers? Who am I, basically? So this is a question that comes again and again. I make a very serious effort to stimulate my students, and whoever is out there, if you're listening and if you're watching me live right now and you are a student, drop a comment below and say hi and let me know if you confirm what I'm about to say. But all of my students know that I like students that are hands-on. I frequently throw creative challenges at them. I give them a lot, but I also ask a lot from them so that they are pushed, they are challenged to offer their input, offer their perspective, offer their ideas. I am very much interested in what my students can create with what I teach them, because I know that's what will make them a dancer ultimately. And if you've been studying with me, you know that's a central part of my teaching and a central part of everything that I do. We are here to be more of who we are. We are here to express ourselves more truthfully, more freely, in a more empowered way, more honest, open way. And I believe that Egyptian dance is the perfect tool for that if we allow ourselves to go there and if we study with teachers who stimulate us and create spaces for us to go there. So this is the theme of this Juju Live session. I am going to ask you, as usual, to share your questions, share your comments on the matter. Let me know if you believe you are a unique Oriental dancer, if you happen to practice Egyptian dance as an amateur, as a professional. It doesn't matter the kind of involvement you have with the dance. If you do Egyptian dance, do you see yourself as an original dancer or not? And the idea here is to be honest with yourself and go from there. So drop your answer to this question in the comment section. If you're joining me live, or if you're watching this in the replay format. And without further ado, let me read the 3 questions I have selected and the 3 questions I am answering, okay? So the first question is, if everyone learns the same dance, how can we create a unique dance style? And when this question came, and it keeps coming again and again, it usually refers to the same dance technique, right? And this is something that, again, I hear a lot inside our courses, in my private coaching. Joanna, everybody's learning the same basic technique, right? First of all, not everybody's learning the same basic technique, and not everybody's learning the same basic technique in the same way. Okay, so I have my own unique teaching method, for instance, which you do not find anywhere else. So I know my students will be taught in a very original way, very different way, and that makes a big difference. At the same time, not all of us teach the same technique. There are teachers with more knowledge and experience than others. There are teachers who know more Egyptian dance technique than others. So this idea that all of us learn the same thing the same way is not correct at all. Okay, so let's assume that we learn different basic dance technique, and we certainly learn dance technique from different methods or teachers without method. And that makes a difference, okay? And you will ask me, Joana, why that makes a difference? Because, for instance, if you learn Egyptian dance technique through mimicking, through following, through copying, which is what happens in most cases. I learned like that, by the way. Chances are you are going to struggle at some point with creating something unique because you will not have developed the tools, the awareness, and the vision of a dance style, a dance language that comes from within. And if you don't dance from within, if your only reference is a teacher that is moving in front of you, a teacher that you are following, you don't have the autonomy, the knowledge, the tools that will allow you to recreate what you are learning. And recreation and expansion is what creates uniqueness in dance. It's what creates ultimately your own personal dance style. Okay? So watch out for this mistake that many of us fall into, presuming that everybody learns the same dance technique and presuming that everybody learns it the same way. Wrong. Okay? So it is important to search for teachers who are truly professional, truly knowledgeable in terms of how much they know of Egyptian dance technique and many other things that you need to teach when you teach Egyptian dance. But at the same time, someone who teaches you in a way that allows you to gradually create your own stuff, gradually expand, vary, create variations, create upgrades from everything that your teachers give you, from everything you learn from the outside world. It's super important. So it's not like everyone is learning the same thing, and it's not like everyone is learning the same way. They're not. But even if they were, let's suppose that I'm talking about my own students because this is what I know best, okay? I've taught in the biggest festivals around the world with hundreds of students in a room, in a theater usually. I've taught private coaching. I've had private coaching for many years, practically since I started my career in Egyptian dance. This was always something that I did not promote, and nonetheless, dancers kept asking me for it. And even today, a big part of my time is spent in private coaching, which is crazy because I don't promote it at all. But people come recommended by other dancers. And of course, the contact I have with my students inside my school, which is very constant, it's very frequent, right? I'm in contact with students daily. And even if you learn within my school, learning the same style, learning the same content, everyone will be different and everyone will have a chance to develop her or his own dance style, even if everyone is learning the same dance technique in the same way. This is why I mentioned my students, because I know they're all learning in the same way, okay? And the question is, what can you do with what you receive from your teacher or teachers? And the question is, are you willing to check how far you can go and how much you can create? And to my surprise, I must confess this, to my surprise, a lot of dancers are not willing to take the risk. And I understand, okay, we don't want to face our limitations. We don't want to face the possibility of failure, of perhaps discovering we're not as talented as we would like to think we are. We are afraid, generally speaking, of the unknown. So it is so much safer to follow your teacher and to follow the choreographies, the exercises, the combos that teacher is creating. But again, if you're my student, you know that it doesn't fly with me. That doesn't fly with me because creative endeavors, creativity requires courage. And that is true of Egyptian dance. It is true of every other art form. If you're not willing to face your limitations, to see how far you can go, how much you can create, how original can you be, what you can do with what you learn, if you are too afraid to discover that, you will never discover your potential. And moreover, you will never develop a unique dance style. You will keep on following your teachers or following other dancers, repeating what everybody is doing, following the trends, and you're gonna look and feel exactly like thousands of other dances. Just one more. Now, is that a problem? It's not a problem if you're okay with it. But I believe, and this is very much a personal belief. It's not the universal truth, but it's my personal belief that Egyptian dance is an invitation for the expression of your identity. I believe this with all my heart. This is an art form per excellence directed at allowing you to express your essence, your soul, your inner world, your heart, your core, yani heart. Okay, so if you are following the trends, if you are limiting yourself by only copying what others are doing what your teachers are doing, and you never take the risk to create something of your own, and you never take the risk to face your limitations and your potential, I believe you will miss the point of Egyptian dance, and you will miss the incredible potential of self-confidence, transformation, empowerment that this dance can actually have. Okay, how do I know that? Because I have been living it for 25 years. That's how I know it. And I have observed that in dancers who actually are brave enough to create something of their own, and they're brave enough to be beginners, and they're brave enough to be intermediate level dancers. They're brave enough to do things that are not extraordinary, and then one day they do something extraordinary. They are brave enough to do mediocre work. Because if we don't know, we don't know. And we only get better by doing, okay? It is important to be okay, yani be confident enough to suck at something. You know, if I am a beginner, if I don't have a lot of experience in a specific art form, I'm not going to be a master at it. Not yet. But in order to become masterful, in order to become excellent at it, I have to start as a beginner. And in order to start as a beginner, I have to be humble and allow myself to make mistakes, to be mature, to be insecure, to create things that are perhaps not very interesting, or a mix of both. Usually it's a mix of both. Okay, so let me know in the comments. Once again, if you consider yourself an unique, an original Oriental dancer, and if you have the courage to create stuff that is uniquely yours. And I mean create stuff, improvise in your own way, choreograph your own pieces, create your own dance combos, create your own dance exercises, recreate everything that you're learning from your teachers. Do you have that kind of independence? Do you have that kind of courage? I would love to know in the comments. Okay, let me check if we have our beautiful dancers live. Drop by and say hi, guys. Hi, Star. Hi. Feel welcome to share your feedback, okay? Guys, you know I love to read your comments, so drop by and say hi and share your experience in regards to uniqueness in Egyptian dance, okay? The second question that I have selected from so many questions I always have in my inbox is, what is the difference between an average dancer who dances like everyone else and an original dancer? So let's assume that we're all working with the same language that we call Egyptian dance, raqs al-sharqi. People usually erroneously call it belly dance, whatever you call it, okay? We are coming from the same base. But then, different individuals, different dancers will listen to the music in their own personal way, if they are trained to do that. It all comes down to education, how you are trained, how you are educated. Then again, most dancers are trained to move. They're not trained to listen. They're not trained to feel. They're trained to memorize movements and choreographies. That's it. That's what most of us have been trained to do. Again, myself included. This is how I started, you know, guys. I started studying with Egyptian dances, and they were the best, okay? The icons. But they were not necessarily great teachers. I'm talking about Suher Zeki, I'm talking about Nagwa Fuad, I'm talking about Mona Said, Asa Sharif. I mean, great iconic figures of Egyptian dance that were not teachers, had no idea of pedagogy, no idea of method. They just danced. They didn't even choreograph. They just improvised and let you follow. That's how I learned. It's terrible. Okay. It had its perks, but as far as I know now, it's not good teaching. It's not even teaching. Okay. But the question is, independently of how we were taught, there is always the invitation of doing it in our own way or not. So the big difference between an average dancer and an original dancer is that the average dancer will reproduce whatever she or he sees everyone doing, or their teacher, or whoever is their reference. Perhaps a dancer they like. Sometimes it's not their teacher, it's a dancer they like. I'm going to do it like her. I'm going to move like her, to the point of copying face expressions. I've seen that, which for me is a pity, right? Because why would you be a copy if you are an original, right? This is what I tell my students. All of us are born with a unique fingerprint. This is not an opinion, it's a fact. Fingerprint, okay? Fingerprint. Nobody has my fingerprint. Nobody has my genetic code. Nobody has my ears. Nobody has my eyes. Nobody has my heart, my life experience, my perspective, my inner world, my sensibility, my pain, my joy. Nobody. This is not an opinion, it is a fact. So I'm either working with that identity, that unique fingerprint, or I am playing safe. And I said, let me check, who can I follow? Whom will I copy? What is my reference? And what is that I can do to get closer, as close as possible to that reference, to be as close as possible to my favorite dancer, to my teacher. This is the average dancer's path. They search desperately for a reference they can follow, like a guru, okay? Tell me what to do. Tell me how to listen. Tell me how to feel. Tell me how to move my face. A teacher should never be allowed to tell you how to move your face or how to feel, because that's part of the territory that teachers cannot touch. They should not invade. There is a sacred space from my students that I do not invade, because it's their input, it's their territory, it's their sacred garden. I don't go in there, and nobody should go there. Okay, I can teach you a lot. I cannot teach you how to listen to the music in your own way. I can teach you how to listen to the music, I mean, on a basic structural level, but not, in your own way. I cannot teach you how that music will affect you. I cannot teach you how to feel, because you will feel whatever you feel in your own way. I cannot teach you how to express with your face, because it's your face. It's an organic, instinctive reaction to whatever is happening within while you listen to the music and while you move. There are spaces that teachers should not invade. It's not their space to be in. An original dancer, on the other hand, is someone who loves to learn, receives information, receives education and training, but then asks, how can I make something of my own with what I am receiving? And that is not just a question, guys. This is a practice and a discipline. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story that I tell every once in a while because it's a good story. And it illustrates what I am trying to tell you in regards to originality. Okay, so when I started studying Egyptian dance, even before I moved to Egypt, even before I started studying in Egypt, I started with a beautiful teacher called Shokri Mohammed in Madrid. I was studying to be an actress. I was studying cinema and theater at the Conservatoire in Madrid. And I was also studying with chakra. Every time I went back home to my little studio in Atocha, in the zone of Atocha, every time I returned home from a class with Chokri, I would put myself in front of a little mirror that I had in my living room, in my studio. I would put music on, Egyptian music on, my hip scarf on, and I would practice what I had learned in class, and then I would recreate everything I had seen in that class. I would do those movements upside down. I would do them slower or faster. I would create different movements from those movements. Of course, most of it was monkey business. Okay, I'm not saying it was a masterpiece, but it was exploration. It was inner search. It was creative flow. It was a question mark that remained inside of me and allowed me to keep growing and creating unique stuff for 25 years nonstop. Okay, so instead of just doing the class and reproducing what I had learned in class, I made a point of recreating and expanding and creating my own stuff, whatever that looked like from what I was learning. This is the kind of discipline and the willingness to suck, basically, and to do weird things that, once again, living in an age of vanity and followers and likes and ego, most dancers are not willing to go for, because they want to look perfect. They want to look like everybody else on the internet. They want to have likes. They want to be approved. They want to be applauded. So they don't offer themselves the space to try out new things, to be a beginner, to be a searcher, to check how a variation could work, a variation of a movement, or to check what would happen if I did that step in a different way, in a different angle, in a different direction, in a different level, from the inside out. What happened if I broke it in two? What happened if I distorted it? What happened if I added something else or removed something from that step? This kind of search, of creative search, is something that I see nowadays most dancers are not willing to do. They want fast results. They want fast applause and fast followers and likes and all of this nonsensical craziness of the internet. So that is destroying a lot of original potential dancers. And that is destroying a lot of our peace of mind as well, and a lot of our mental health. So the difference between an average dancer and an original dancer is basically the willingness to face their limitations and their potential, and the willingness to do creative searches around everything they are learning. Okay, super important. There is also a very big difference between these two dances, which is an average dancer will be dancing to impress and to be approved. An original dancer is dancing to be truthful, and it's dancing to share. An original dancer is not worried about, will they like me? Will they not? Will they understand what I'm doing? Will they approve? Will they give me a like? Will they comment? Will they not? No, originality is brave. And originality is often a daring position where the dancer is strong enough, confident enough to stand her or his ground without demanding attention or applause from the outside world. Okay, what else do we have here? And guys, I've selected 3 questions that I consider particularly relevant. Okay, but if you have other questions that I am not answering, feel welcome to drop them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer. Okay. And before I read the 3rd question, oh my God, I forgot to do the presentation. I always do the presentation and I forgot. My name is Joana Saahirah. You have it where here. Ah, yes. Yes, this is my name. I'm a world-renowned Oriental dancer, teacher, choreographer, author, a lot of things, and the creator of the pioneering Joana Saahirah's World and Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School. delivering authentic Egyptian dance, personal empowerment, and personal discovery. There is also an invitation that I forgot to make. We are launching a new online training, out of the box Tabla Solo, that is going to happen at our school this November. Okay, it's going to be so unique. There will be a chair and a hip scarf involved, and it's not going to be like anything you've ever seen. It's going to be obviously inspired in my experience as a performer in Egypt and around the world, especially in my experience with my musicians and with my percussionists, because they were such amazing teachers. So a lot of what I'm going to teach in this online training and in the choreography I'm going to teach comes from my crazy talented musicians in Egypt. In the end, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this, and I'm going to leave the link for more information about the online training, if you're interested, in the comments below the replay of this session. Now, before we close, one more question that I selected. What can I do in order to become a more original dancer? This is the million-dollar question, right? This is the million-dollar question. What can I do to become a more original, a more unique, a differentiated Oriental dancer? So, first of all, guys, we have to acknowledge our uniqueness. This is very much at the base of everything that I do. It's at the base of my brand, Joana Saahirah's World and School. It's one of the values I live by. It's not just a slogan. It is something that I live by. And the students who know me well, then again, know that I believe in their uniqueness. I am genuinely interested in their unique perspective. Okay? The question is, if they don't know they're unique, they're not going to go for it. They're not going to explore that venue. And this is what happens, is that most dancers don't know they're unique. They don't see themselves as unique. They're usually going to see themselves as better or worse than. This is the disease of competition, as you know. The disease of comparison, which is the opposite of uniqueness. Because if I'm unique, I'm not comparable to anyone. If I'm unique, I'm not comparing myself to other people. I am unique. How can I compare myself? So I don't believe I should be better or worse than anyone. I believe I should be myself. That's it. End of conversation. And so should everybody else. Okay? So uniqueness is the opposite of competition. Uniqueness, the awareness of your uniqueness, is the opposite of comparison. Okay, so it all starts with acknowledging I am unique and so is everybody else. So this bullshit of competition, of comparison, wanting to be the biggest diva in the room, which is a disease in this field. It is a disease, okay? And I love this field, guys. I've worked with people who are so amazing. I was privileged to work. I would say 95% of the people I've worked in this industry were really, really nice, wonderful people. The same can be said in relation to the students and the audiences, but there are the 5% who are not so nice, and those 5% have a lot of strength sometimes, okay? And they stimulate competition. They live in a competitive world and they stimulate competition, and that, in my opinion, is highly destructive. It's highly destructive of our originality, highly destructive of the environment where dancers circulate, because you don't want to circulate in a negative environment. I believe you want to circulate in an environment that is safe, that is kind, that is loving, that is supportive. You want to go to a class where people are helping each other and learning together and bringing each other up, instead of being in environments where everyone is looking at everyone like that and trying to be the biggest diva in the room, right? It's not healthy. So it is important to embrace the uniqueness mindset as opposed to the competition mindset that I see a lot in this field, not only in this field, but we're talking about Egyptian dance in other fields as well. Okay, this is not exclusive of Egyptian dance. This is the first thing. I own and recognize my uniqueness. Therefore, I recognize the uniqueness of others. So I am proud and I operate from my uniqueness and I help others do the same. This is where it all starts. Because if you don't believe you are unique, you're not going to go there. You're not going to work on it. Okay? What else can you do? You can create the discipline of creativity. Okay? So I don't know how dancers learn what they do in their private life. I have a little bit of feedback from my students, but I mean, I'm not with them 24/7. So I'm not absolutely sure of what they do when they're not with me, right? But what I suggest to my students is that they divide their dance practice in different dates and in different focus points. In one day, I am going to work perhaps on what I'm learning from my class, from my course, a course that I'm taking. On another day, I am going to focus on improvisation. Another day, I am going to focus on choreographing something of my own. Another day, I'm going to work on improving dance technique, perhaps a step that I'm struggling with, a movement that I'm not very good at, a coordination, an isolation, a layered movement, something that is not flowing in my body. Let's focus on that. Another day, I am going to create dance combos for practice. Another day, and it goes like that, okay? So there is a value in having the discipline to actually schedule your dance practices and then vary what you are going to do in those dance practices so that you develop yourself in different levels, in different places, because what you are going to develop when you improvise is not the same you're going to develop when you choreograph. And what you're going to develop when you choreograph is not the same that you're going to develop when you improve your dance technique or when you follow a class. Everything will develop different facets of your system, of your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, your soul. Okay? So dividing your dance practice in different focus points is very important. And becoming a doer, a creator, as opposed to just being a follower. I have all sorts of students. Nowadays at Joana Saahirah's online dance school, I have the privilege, I am lucky to deal with dancers literally from all over the world, from India, New Zealand, China, Japan, Singapore, Brazil, everywhere. It's beautiful. A dream come true, really. And one thing that I've noticed is that people are varied and they have very different disciplines, they have very different ways of doing things. But what I see most is a resistance to do the creative work. So they will not have most dancers. I'm generalizing, okay, guys? Don't get upset with me. I'm not like that. Okay, good for you. If you're not like that, good for you. But most dancers that I come in contact with, okay, and the same happened when I was teaching massively physically in big festivals. I observed exactly the same thing. Most dancers will prefer that you tell them what to do. Most dancers will prefer that you come and you drop a choreography on their laps and you teach them how to memorize that choreography. Very few dancers feel comfortable creating something of their own. That's the minority. Nonetheless, if you want to become a more original dancer, a more unique dancer, there is no way around it, guys. You have to create your own stuff. Will it be good? I don't know. I don't know. Will it be extraordinary? I don't know. Will it be perfect? Absolutely no. Nothing is perfect. Even today, as I know more than I ever knew, you know, I don't do things that I always love. Sometimes I create choreographies or classes or performances or whatever I do, because I do a lot of things at the same time, and I don't really like the result. I feel, oh my God, this is mediocre, in the sense of this is average. This is not exciting, you know. But of course, I mean, not everything that you will do will be extraordinary. And I create on a daily basis. Chances are a lot of what I'm creating is not gonna astound me. It's not gonna surprise me, you know, because I'm constantly creating. There is not one single day when I'm not choreographing something. For instance, either for me, for a student in private coaching, or several students actually in private coaching, each one with its own choreography, its own thing, for the courses at the school, for videos, for my social media. I'm always choreographing. Of course, there will be times I don't like what I see. So I have to be okay with that. I have to be okay with producing things I don't like, things that are not original, things that I have seen, things that are not exciting. But on another occasions, I create stuff that I say, yes, oh my God, you have it. I love you, Joana. You're so amazing. You know, it comes the good and the bad. So there is no guarantee that when you create your own stuff, you're always going to create something extraordinary, or you're going to create something extraordinary at least one time. Nobody can guarantee you that, right? Also because all of us have different levels of talent, different levels of expertise, different levels of openness, of daringness, different heads. So the question is opening the door to the creative adventure. And instead of pushing yourself to be perfect and demanding extraordinary results, you say, let's see what happens. And I accept that some days I'm going to create something exciting. Some days I'm not going to create something exciting. And I'm fine with both days. I'm fine. Nobody dies. I'm not the center of the world. It is just a damn choreography. It is just a damn improvisation. It's not the solution for world hunger. Okay, so you have to put things into perspective. First, you own your uniqueness and you drop out of the competition train. This is the first thing to become a more original dancer. Then you gain the discipline of creativity, not only the discipline of attending classes and workshops and following teachers, following choreographies, but actually creating your own choreographies. And I don't mean when you are an expert. I don't mean when you are pro. I mean from the beginning. If you cannot create with 1,000 movements, create with 500 movements. If you don't have 500 movements, create with 5 movements, but create. The more you get into the habit of doing things in your own way from within, the more you develop your own unique way of listening, of reacting to the music, of reinventing the technique that you're learning. It's a practice. The more you do it and the earlier you start to do it, the better and faster you become at it. Okay, so it's very important to have that creativity discipline. Okay, and being okay with less than extraordinary results. Okay, being totally okay with that and working from those results and improving from there. Okay, experience has a lot of perks. Okay, we learn a lot from experience, so don't underestimate the power of actually doing it. Last but not least, for now, in order to help you to become a more original dancer, is to sharpen your ear. And once again, the students who are used to studying with me, they know I give huge importance to listening because that's where Egyptian dance starts. Okay. A great Oriental dancer is a great listener. By the way, we also have, and we have a lot going on at our school. Next weekend, me and Mr. George Sawa are going to deliver a workshop on how to interpret the Egyptian instruments. Oh my God, how could I forget? Yes, And I'm also going to share the link for more information on that workshop when I finish this live session in the comments. Okay, you can go ahead and check it, because listening is where everything starts in Egyptian dance. Okay, so I would say sharpening your ear, your understanding of the music, and your feeling of the music. As I teach my students, there are two different kinds of listening. One is the intellectual listening, and the other one is the emotional listening. What is the intellectual listening? It's knowing what you are listening to, right? I'm listening to a piece. I know this is classical Egyptian music, or I know this is modern Egyptian music. I know this is Sha'abi. I know this is a Beledi song or a Beledi Awedi. I know this is folklore. I identify the kind of folklore. I can identify the rhythms. Perhaps I can even identify the mekamet, the melodic modes. I can identify the style, the singer, where it comes from. This is the intellectual listening. Knowing what I'm listening from an intellectual, mental point of view. Very important. Then there is the emotional listening. And it has nothing to do with information. It has to do with, what does this music make me feel? How does this music move me from within? Where does it take me? What does it ask me to do? This is also the beginning of tarab, ecstasy, transcendence, bliss, one of the most essential concepts in the practice of Egyptian dance and music. If you don't understand tarab, what the hell are you doing here? Tarab also starts in the ear. Okay, I have to be able to connect to the music on an emotional, subconscious level. Okay, so it all starts with sharpening your ears, connecting to the music intellectually, emotionally, and allowing the music to inform your dance as much as your mind and the experience and the knowledge you have accumulated will inform your dance. What I see happening in most cases is that dancers trust their knowledge, they trust their education, they follow the instructions their teachers have given them, but they do not trust their ear. They don't trust their ability to listen and feel the music and take guidance from the music. And this is a big problem, especially if you want to develop a more unique dance style. So I'm going to leave you with these three because they are already a lot. Fast, you own your uniqueness and the uniqueness of everybody else. So you support your uniqueness and you support the uniqueness of everyone. You don't compare yourself to others, and you don't compete because you understand there is no point in competition, okay? That's for amateurs, really. Okay? That's for amateurs. Competition is for amateurs. Then you create a dance practice that includes creative exploration and creative work, not just repetition of what you are learning, but the application of what you're learning in your own stuff, the stuff that you're creating from within. Last but not least, for now, coming to terms with the importance of listening, becoming a little bit slower, allowing yourself to be still, allowing yourself to take time and space to listen to the music and to connect intellectually and emotionally, so that the process of movement and the process of self-expression comes from within. And if it comes from within, chances are originality will start to pour from you. These are, for now, the 3 tips or guidance lights that I am offering in reference, in relation to uniqueness in Egyptian dance. Now, the invitations, if you want to develop your originality. Hi, Nahara. Nahara says, I just love you. Oh my God, you're so sweet. Keep dancing your truth and the truth. Absolutely, Nahara. Always. I've been doing it for a long time. I have no intention of changing. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your love and thank you for dropping that beautiful comment. I appreciate it. um, Star. Your school rocks. Yes, it rocks and it rocks. Absolutely. Thank you, Star. The workshops with Maestro Jorge Sawa are incredible. Looking forward to next week. Oh, you're going to join us, Star. Are you with us? I hope you are. I hope you are. I'm excited to have you with us. So, as I was promising, I'm going to leave you the links to two very exciting things that are happening at our school in the next few weeks. One of them is our workshop with Mr. Jorge Sawa, our many times guest, how to interpret the Egyptian instruments. So it's going to have live music with Mr. Jorge playing for us and giving us the perspective of the musician on how to listen and interpret different instruments, different flavors that we usually listen in Egyptian music. That's happening next weekend, and the subscriptions are about to be closed. So do not miss it because this will be a unique opportunity and it's gonna come and go. It's not a workshop that is always gonna be available at the school. It's gonna disappear in a few days, actually. And the other invitation, in order to get you into those unique original vibes, is our upcoming online training, out of the box Tabla Solo, that I will be teaching the month of November, this month that is about to start at our school. Okay. And in this training, I'm going to teach you an entire Tabla Solo choreography, but like the name implies, totally out of the box. So we're going to explore venues of creativity and dance technique that usually are not explored in Egyptian dance, venues that are allowed in a Tabla Solo. Okay, in other words, we're gonna see what freedom, creative freedom and freedom of expression actually look and feel like. Okay, as I mentioned, there will be a chair involved and there will be a hip scarf. So we're really gonna go crazy. As I've always mentioned, when I mention tabla solos, a lot of what I'm going to teach you comes from my musicians in Egypt. It doesn't come from dance teachers because you can learn from so many places and so many people, official teachers, unofficial teachers, and my musicians have been my teachers in so many aspects, especially my percussionists and my crazy tabal, Bahsan Maradona. He was one of the biggest inspirations behind this online training, out of the box tabla solo. And I am going to share the links for more information on both events, the Tabla Solo training and the workshop with Mr. Jorge Sawa on how to interpret the Egyptian instruments in the comments below this replay, the replay version of this Juju Live session. This is it for now. I am going to say goodbye. Thank you for dropping by, dear Star. Thank you. Okay, you're joining us. I am glad. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be very special. Thank you, Nahara, for showing up as well. And thank you for all the support, all the love that these Juju Live sessions receive when I join you live and then in the replay format. All of this is in my YouTube channel. So if you want to check more Juju Live sessions that we have already shared, go to Joana Saahirah's YouTube channel and check the replays. A lot of goodies there for you. I'm going to say bye for now. I'm going to see you in the comments below this video. And I hope to dance and see you very soon. I hope we'll dance together. Okay? Next weekend, next week, as soon as possible. Okay? Mwah! A big kiss